They can be blues, and they also can be Hendrixy. Like, I'm gonna try and come up with something that will feature him, some kind of long song with amorphous type of Hendrix kind of song. Evil Woman is kind of like a baby step in that direction. We just got that song from the record company. We didn't really know what to do with it, except that it had no chord changes, so there was hope for it. And what it wound up sounding like was that type of influence. And I think we can do things mostly featuring Henry that will be good in that style, and we're going to try and come up with them. But then, of course, Terraplane Blues, that's a horse of an entirely different color. His volume will be weighed down. There's no AAB. Yeah, the other half of the schizophrenic scene is Henry. What Henry wants to do in inclination is growing further away from what I want to do. So what the deal is we both like the way each other plays, and we can enjoy backgrounding one category of songs played at top volume with that British approach to sound. But then if say I play harmonica or bottleneck, then more and more so in the future it's going to emerge as a whole different category of song, in which the volume may be as much as 3/5 and no more of the peak volume reached on British-oriented items. And I think we can handle all this. I think we can play both ends against the middle. A large amount of the problem is just volume. The volume necessary to produce the tone he wants is a volume which does not agree with the volume that I play lead at. So it means, like, when I'm playing lead, it will be a whole different situation, viewed by many as being a lot more conservative, and it definitely is in some ways. In that way, it has a relationship. You can look at it in the same way as structurally as analyzing Blind Willie Johnson songs, 8 measures, 16 measures, things like that, using blue notes, but without that predictable feature, the AAB feature. That's not the name of that game. Now, I like this style, but I like it better on records. I like the tone and the sustaining quality of the guitar, but generally you have to play so loud to do that. It wipes me out. Like in this band, this Canned Heat, so I've been wearing earplugs myself for 8 months now, because a long time ago it passed the point where I'd wake up in the morning and my ears would buzz. And I didn't mind so much when they buzzed after the job, but then when I woke up the next morning and they're still buzzing, I said, okay, that's it. And so I can't make that scene. I understand Clapton just had a major ear operation. He lost a lot of his hearing, and they discovered blood pools of blood hemorrhaging in both inner ears. So I'm not ready for that. Bloomfield, I believe, is having trouble hearing. I understand a lot of the harmonica players in Chicago, that's what Mike said, are starting to lose it. So I have no interest in that at all. But I like to listen to it, Cream on albums particularly. When we did a live thing with the Cream recently, and they were so loud I just had to leave. And sometimes we're so loud people have to leave. So that upsets me too. But it's weird. It's like a price you have to pay. Actually, I don't feel so badly about it, because it's very easy to protect yourself. All you have to do is wear earplugs. It's just that people don't do that. It's all you have to do. It's not completely insane to play this way, because if you play at a lower volume, you just can't get the sound. So what I think is that they should play loud and everybody should wear earplugs. And then you get the sound and you don't wipe out your ears. We're going to try this thing, Morning Blues, by Dave Macon. I think we're going to try that. Barry Melton was sitting around playing that song on open D. I really liked the way it sounded, and he had no interest in doing it in his group, Country Joe. That's interesting. One thing, a lot of these guys can play an open tuning like Bloomfield and Melton, just don't want to. It's not where their head's at. I find a lot of it is based on just the practical issue of tuning on stage is something that bothers a lot of people. Like, I know Mike used to tune to open D and then back to standard and do bottleneck songs, but he stopped doing that. Last time I saw him do that was the first time I saw him at Newport Festival 64 with Butterfield. That's the last time I saw him do that. So I should say, I spend all night tuning. but it's just something we decided to put up with, and we've got it down to the fact where I usually don't take any more than the usual length of time. Sometimes I do, but it's necessary. But we figure we gain more than we lose by it, although it creates problems between the songs. The sustaining qualities of the electric guitar uh, are well utilized by drone strings and things like that. Playing melodies up and down one string. I've never heard an amplified bottleneck record with a band which used that style, ever, and there's a good reason, because it just doesn't sound good. I haven't heard that either. That thumb roll and then playing single melodies. The problem is, on an acoustic, that's a very loose way of playing. Your hand falls into a groove, and if you hit an adjoining string, it is completely inoffensive on the acoustic. But in the electric, the open string, if you hit it, sustains a long amount of time and takes the attention away from the melody. And the melody seems to become lost in this whine of randomly attacked drone strings in the middle of the guitar. So the electric doesn't seem to work out too well for that. At least I've never heard a single version of any song that sounded good. Yeah, now you could perhaps do it with a three-piece band. When he added the piano and the harmonica, he stopped doing that. The last I heard him do that on record was with his trio, which is harmonica, bottleneck, and usually bass drum or stand-up bass. Now I think you could pull it off. One song in that style, pretty much, is what's the name of that thing? I Be's Troubled. I Can't Be Satisfied. But that's a two-piece orchestra. Now when you have another guitar added and Fender bass and a whole bunch of instruments, then that style becomes a lot more difficult. And it isn't really the case. He played mostly like two-string licks. He very seldom, he didn't improvise running up and down the top string. He had a few set little figures. It's just a lot more conservative type one-string playing than guys like Booker White, but it sounds good. Oh, that's just a case where the left hand is the traditional left hand and the right hand is the way it feels comfortable to play. Now, I'll tell you, that's funny. The solo is one string because for some reason, it's usually two, but the day of the record, several takes, I couldn't get a good sound up high on the two strings, so I played a one-string solo. But on the last chorus, I just threw it to the winds and played the two strings like I planned it, and it finally came out right. It's the only time it did. Oh, it's Bullfrog Blues, but we can't find another one. We haven't been able to. The ideal characteristic is where Henry can get away all the way through and have a strong rhythm guitar part. But we haven't been able to hit the winning combination in that category since that time. Like Terraplane is a different creature. I'm going to be playing lead on that song. The ideal song is where we can get a good rhythm part and then have it lay of the land in such a way that Henry can do anything he wants over it. One is the canned heat blues kind of thing, where intricate, the background guitar is based on intricate playing in all registers. That doesn't supply a kernel that the band can relate to. If we ever worked out a song like that, it would be highly arranged and never played live. People couldn't stand to do that. That would be like sitting around reading dance band charts to play that kind of song. The rhythm guitar parts. Oh, right. 4 or 5 strings at a swipe. Well, controlled, using a lot of strings. If you slosh in the electric, you can't get away with it as easy as you can on the acoustic. It's grotesque if you just slosh on the electric. Now, this Morning Blues, that might fulfill the spirit of that kind of song, but it has no changes. See, it's weird. It's real weird. It has that whole flavor and that set of notes, but there's no chords, so that might work out. Well, in terms of putting lead guitar over traditional drone guitar, it's not too common now. A recent record has called "Motor City is Burning" by John Lee Hooker. That's got Hooker strumming away on an E chord most of the way and singing, and some unidentified guitarist who sounds kind of like Buddy Guy playing real good up high. So that would be the same one chord item. That would be the same combination as we have on, say, Dark Road. And then B.B. King plays a solo on a Otis Spann record from the 50s, dealing with the devil. But their approach, usually those two things are different. Traditional guitar and modern guitar are usually found in different orchestras. If Henry was not in the group, then it would be based on who the other guitar player would be. Of course, if Henry wasn't in the group, it would be based on who we went out and got. But that's too hypothetical, because the group is the group. And then if Henry isn't in the group, it ain't the group. Oh, well, this is getting into an area that has not been discussed at all, which is what the people playing the melodies and singing the melodies do. What we've been discussing mostly is the background. So that's really a lot harder to talk about, because then you get into the specificalities of how guys treat notes and how they treat rhythm. For myself, I'm interested in avoiding Negro inflection of speech as much as I can, using words that I really want to sing. And most of the words I like to listen to, I don't want to sing. The main thing is, like, Bob feels comfortable singing a wide range of words not directly applicable to his life, such as I was born in Alabama and raised in Tennessee. I think he thinks of them as songs. He likes to sing songs, but they're not static. He mixes them all up from different places. It's really weird. Like, at any given time, there's only about 5 songs that I know. Because that's the main problem I've had is most of the words sound good, but not coming out of me. So I'm getting more into writing my own words to get around that. It's an obvious solution. Oh no, on stage sometimes, yeah, but on the record. Like, one thing I can mention, it's kind of weird. It's if I was to read it about it somewhere and hadn't done it myself, it would seem artificial, but I'll cop to it anyway. Is that me and Bob, we both write all the words down and look at them as we sing them. Just sing from the page. Now that's worthy of mentioning. As I say, to be perfectly honest, if I read that of some other band somewhere, it would, without having done it myself, it would seem wrong. But in the first record, we didn't do that, and it just didn't come out the way we expected. And so we decided to become schizophrenic in that way and become highly organized on records. Now, you don't have to. I mean, Muddy Waters did very well running into the studio, batting off 9 masterpieces in 12 tries and then splitting for another 8 months. He did it, but we didn't. So we're trying something else. Well, yeah. Me, yeah. Not obvious ones. See, the main thing in the words is that the singer wants to sing them. It doesn't matter so much if they're completely intelligible, like that owl thing. See, they're all words I wanted to sing. It's the message is not really too intelligible to the singer. So if the words fit psychologically, then he can feel comfortable singing them.